Darth Vader, lay down your weapons. You're surrounded.
All I am surrounded by is fear. And dead men.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Galactic Armory. Today I'm very excited to show you guys what I've been up to lately, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how I did it. This is one of my favorite Darth Vader poses in any kind of medium, either it be comic books or movies, and it's just such a cool phrase. I mean, the comic books is really where Darth Vader gets to shine. And so a while ago, I had this figurine modeled of him. Originally, I planned to print it on an SLA printer, like a resin printer, so that I could get all the fine details, and it only stood at about 30 centimeters tall, or about a foot. Then, I kind of had the fun idea, because I hate resin printing, really, to scale up the files and print it on an FDM 3D printer. For the filament, I thought it'd be really cool to use something different, and so I went with a carbon fiber filament from Suntop. You can find an affiliate link for that in the description. Okay, now that you've seen the finished product, let's see how we got there. So here's a look at the original file. It stands about 30 centimeters from bottom of the platform, top of the head. And I think you can see why I wanted to print it originally in an SLA printer. It's not that big, but it's got a lot of details. This is a very high polygon model. But all of my SLA printers are being complete monsters right now, so I wanted to print it on an FDM printer, but I mean, FDM printers are really good, but they don't have the same level of detail as an SLA printer does. And so what I wanted to do was scale up this model so that you could still get all of those nice details on an FDM printer. So here it is at 100%. Let's copy and paste this and see what it looks like at 150%. Sorry, my computer's a little wonky because the polygon count's making it a bit slower. So let's change this to 150, and look at that. Yeah, that's a nice that's a nice upgrade in size. So the nice thing about this model is that it's separated up into a bunch of different pieces. It'd be really difficult to print the whole thing in one piece on an SLA printer, and so what I did was split up the model. And then it has these nice little registration pegs so that they fit into each other very nicely. And basically what I did was scale up all of these little pieces to the same 150% from before. And they all fit on the bed pretty nicely. Even this little platform here just barely fits. For the print settings, it was mostly the same, except I went with a little bit higher infill because I wanted this thing to have some heft and some weight to it. So went all the way up to 30. The layer height was actually 0.2 millimeter layer height, so because I wanted to get that extra detail in there. For the filament, I just used the same temperature as my normal PLA. I'm not too familiar with carbon fiber filament, but it worked pretty well for me. So overall, this whole print took a bit longer than normal because of the increased infill and the decreased layer height. Here is the torso and the right hand, for example. This whole thing, like these only these two parts, took about 44 hours in total, so pretty good stuff. If we look at that infill, that is going to be nice and heavy. So the real difficulty was waiting for a single printer to print all of these pieces, while I just had to stare in awe and anticipation. I won't make you guys wait that long, so let's jump right ahead to when I have all the parts printed out. So the first thing we're going to do is start with the foundation. Just look at that shine off that filament. I absolutely love how these pieces turned out. But anyway, we're going to be using some E6000 to assemble all the pieces together. This stuff is kind of a slow acting glue, so it needs to hold for at least 24 hours before it fully sets. So we're going to be doing this over the course of a few days. Now you see me here attach them to the platform just to make sure that I have them, you know, in the right spot. They're tilted the right way and that they fit on the lower half of the torso. So just verify your parts fit the right way before you start gluing them down. I'm going to apply a hefty amount of this stuff to it, and then I'm going to let the platform and the feet sit overnight so that we have a nice solid foundation to work on. While that's curing, I'm going to go ahead and work on the torso as well. I'm going to try to attach both arms to the torso so we don't have to wait for that glue to cure as well. I'm going to try and use some bungee cords to keep some tension on the parts so that they don't like slip out or fall off overnight while I'm waiting for the glue to cure. On the next day, we'll work on the remaining pieces and assemble it all together. So connecting the lower body and the upper body, we're just going to apply a lot of E6000 in that connecting area right there, a little bit on the pegs, and then we're going to use a bungee cord to help keep some tension for the parts to sit overnight. The cape on this guy is kind of a beast because it's so big and it hangs off to one side. So we're going to need a lot of glue, a lot of E6000 to hold this guy in place on both sides, both with the peg and the other side without the peg. And again, using the bungee cords to help keep the tension to keep the part held down while the glue cures. Okay, now that the glue has had sufficient time to cure, we're going to finally add the final piece. We're going to just drop the head in there. You can apply a little bit of glue in there if you like, but it'll just sit in there as well. So there you go, guys. I'm not going to do any post-processing on this of the print. I think it looks astounding the way it is. The way the light glimmers off the black, it just looks so velvety and smooth, and I'm just really happy with this print. Right now it stands at about 25 inches from platform to the tip. So now the big problem is where am I going to put this stuff? I'm running out of shelf space. I need to order some more shelves so I can put all these helmets, props, and statues. But if you guys want your own parts to this so you can make your own statue at the same scale, check out the link in the description. I am going to start selling raw 3D prints of this in the carbon fiber black that you see here. So if you want to help support the channel while completing this project on your own, be sure and check that out. I'll also link the 3D files that I used in the description, so if you have your own 3D printer, you can do this as well. Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you again in the next one.